Hello students, today I am going to deliver a lecture for the subject Railway Bridge and Tunnel Engineering. My topic is components of permanent railway track and gauge. Now what is the definition of the railway track? The combination of rails fitted on sleepers and resting on ballast and subgrade is called railway track. The railway track is also called permanent way. Now what are the components of railway track or what are the components of permanent way of railway track? The component parts of railway track are rails, sleeper, ballast, sub-ballast and embankment. Now here in this image you can see rail. So what is a rail? Rail are members of the track laid in two parallel lines to provide continuous land surface for the movement of trains. It is made up of steel in the form of I section. Now what are the function of rails? Provide a continuous and level surface, provide a pathway which is smooth and less friction, lateral guide for the wheels, bear changes due to vertical loads, transfer load to formation through sleepers on wider area. Now next word, which is sleeper. In this image you can see sleeper. Below rail one member is laying, which is known as a sleeper. So what is sleeper? Sleepers are traverse member of the track placed below the rail to support and fix them in position. Functions of sleepers: to hold the rail, to proper gauge, to transfer the load from rails to the ballast, to support and fix the rail in proper position, to provide elastic medium between the rails and the ballast, to provide stability to the permanent way on the whole. Now the function of the sleeper or main function of the sleeper is whatever load coming from the moving rail, it is going to be transferred to the sleeper, and main the vibration of the rails, it is going to be absorbed by the sleeper. Types of sleepers: timber sleeper, RCC sleepers, steel sleepers, cast iron sleepers and pre-stressed concrete sleepers. Next word is ballast. So here in this image you can see aggregates. Different size of aggregates are there. So what is ballast? Railway ballast is the foundation of railway track and provide just below the sleepers. The loads from the wheels of trains ultimately come on the ballast through rails and sleepers. So whatever the load coming from the rail and sleeper, it's transferred to the ballast. Types of ballast: broken stone, gravel, sand, ash, canker, muram, blast furnace slag, brick ballast and selected earth. Function of ballast: to transfer and distribute the load from sleepers to a larger area of formation, to provide elasticity and resilience to track for getting proper riding comfort, to provide effective drainage to track, to provide effective means of maintaining evenness and alignment of track. The main function of ballast is to drain out the water. So whatever the water or rainwater coming on the track, it can be drained out through ballast. Sub-ballast: a layer of muram, gravel or small aggregate is provided between the ballast and subgrade to drain off the water immediately is called sub-ballast. Sub-ballast has a particle size lesser than the ballast. So the smaller size of aggregate we can use as a sub-ballast. Formation: the surface prepared to receive the ballast, sleeper, rail, etc. for constructing the railway track is known as formation or embankment. So here in this image you can see the road condition, the ground and the constructed railway track. Functions of formations. It provides an uniform and smooth bed on which tracks are laid. It bears the entire load which is transferred from ballast. It provides drainage facility. It provides stability to the track. So here I have given overall view of components of permanent way of railway. So first one is the rail, then sleeper, ballast, sub-ballast and embankment. So now whatever the load coming from the moving rail, it can be resisted by first rail, then it is going to be transferred to the sleeper, through sleeper it's transferred to the ballast, then sub-ballast, embankment and finally it is going to be distributed in the ground. Now next title, which is gauge. So here in this image you can see two rails. So what is gauge? A clear horizontal distance between the inner faces of two rails forming the track at the top is called gauge of the rail. So simply inner to inner distance between two rails, that is known as a gauge. There are four types of gauges: broad gauge, meter gauge, narrow gauge, light gauge. Now the dimension for the inner rails for the broad gauge is 1.676 meter. For meter gauge it is 1 meter. Narrow gauge 0.762 meter. For light gauge 0.610 meter. Here this is the image of broad gauge, meter gauge, narrow gauge, light gauge. Now which are the factors affecting selection of railway gauge? So first one, cost of construction, volume and nature of traffic, development of the areas, physical features of the country, and last one is speed of trains. So whenever we are deciding which type of gauge we have to construct, so that time we have to consider this factor, or respect to this we are going to design a gauge. First one, cost of construction. So how the cost is affected in a gauge design? So the cost of railway track is directly proportional to the width of its gauge. So simply broad gauge, the construction cost is higher. If it is a narrow gauge, construction cost is less. So if the fund available for that location is not sufficient, then we can construct standard gauge, meter gauge, yeah, narrow gauge, rather than if there is a no railway. So construction of broad gauge is costly. If fund is not available, we can construct meter gauge, yeah, narrow gauge to provide facility of a railway. The cost of earthwork, ballast, sleeper, rail would proportionally increase with increase in gauge width. Simply as the gauge width is going to be increased, the remaining components means sleeper, ballast, the costs of that component is also going to be increased because we have to provide more. Next, if there is a little proportion increase in the acquisition of land for permanent track with increase in gauge. So simply the embankment work, cutting, filling work, it is going to be increased if the gauge is changed. Next one, volume and traffic. If the intensity of traffic on the track is more, gauge wider than the standard gauge is suitable. So simply with highly populated area, intensity of traffic is high, at that time we have to go for a broad gauge because it can carry more traffic through rail. For heavier load and high speed, the wider gauge are required. Same way, if the load is high and speed of the train is required more, preferable gauge is broad gauge or wider gauge is required. Development of areas. Narrow gauge can be used to develop the thinly populated areas by joining the poor development areas with developed or urban areas. Means if the population is less for a particular region, so in that case we cannot going to provide broad gauge because the construction cost is going to be increased. So at that time we can provide narrow gauge to connect the people. Physical features of the country. Use of narrow gauge is warranted in hilly areas where broad and meter gauge are not possible due to steep gradients and sharp curves. In plains also, where high speed is not required and traffic is light, narrow gauge is a correct choice. So in hilly region, it is very difficult to construct broad gauge and meter gauge because there is a scarcity of the material, availability of the resources. So in that case, we are providing narrow gauge for a hilly region. Same way, in plain areas where speed is not a factor or high speed is not required, so we can provide narrow gauge at that location. So this way, these are the different factors which can affect for choose gauge type which we have to provide. These are my references. Thank you.